Fuel and oil wells. Blood Cove here. Today we're going to cover fuel, where to find it, what to look for, and how to produce it through oil wells. As you can see, I'm at a oil refinery. There's 7 oil wells in this area. It started off as a minor experiment that snowballed into a major experiment. But let's get back to the basics and what I first talked about, which is fuel. Your car can carry a max of 55 liter of fuel. A single small bottle is 1 liter, a medium bottle is 3 liters, and your large barrel is 10. Fuel can be found in a few couple places. Look in cars. You can get one small bottle or a medium bottle. There are gas stations centered around the map that you go to the pump and you can get large barrels. Those looting those places should be enough to keep you going if you're playing solo. If you're playing multiplayer, resources might become more scarce. If you have your settings set to where it's harder to get resources. If looting fuel isn't enough to keep your vehicles running, so you'll need to get creative through the use of the oil well. In order to start the oil well, you need an oil well core to repair it. Once you have your well repaired, you'll have to connect it to a battery source. So set up a battery station close by, put a new battery in it, and you'll be ready to use it. An industrial battery is 200 amp hours. Running it at full capacity, it will net you 500 oil or 500 fuels once it's refined. Running a full industrial battery, all 7 wells, it will take you roughly 3.5 minutes to use the entire battery up and produce 500 oil. This has remained consistent on multiple tests. One final note about the oil well. Once its inventory space reaches max, it will keep pumping them out onto the ground. So be prepared to pick those up. Now let's get into the refinery process. To start, you're going to need an advanced chemical reaction station and an oil well. Or gather the oil that you've been collecting and looting and run that through. So to turn oil into fuel, use your advanced chemical reaction workstation. For every 1 oil, you get 1 small bottle of fuel. So 10 oil equals 1 large barrel of fuel, or 10 liters. This does require electricity. You'll have to hook it into a battery station. You can post it up here or back at your base. Once you make your small bottles, you're going to collect the small bottles and turn those into large barrels. It takes 10 small bottles to make 1 barrel of fuel. I keep turning them into the barrels and storing the barrels. It takes up less space. What I call the medium bottles are really a large bottle, but it's the medium grade. Gives you 3 liters per bottle. It's an odd number. You can't turn those into the large barrels. Here's a trick. Your fuel generator, you slap them in your fuel generator, and then you can remove the fuel. And when you remove the fuel from the fuel generator, it gives you 1 liter at a time. So you can break those into the small bottles and then turn those into the large barrels. Earlier, I spoke about a minor experiment that snowballed into a major experiment. Let me clarify. I came here with the intent to show you how to use the oil wells and give you an alternate means to create fuel if it becomes scarce through looting. The experiment changed from a simple tutorial into, can the oil refinery be self-sufficient? To answer that question, let's look at a few things. Let's go through the process. The oil wells need power to run. Power is generated either through fuel generator, thermal generator, or solar cell. Your thermal generator, using one at a time, is considered the weakest of the 3 generators. Your fuel generator is next online, running 24 hours a day, as long as it's got fuel. Lastly, your solar cell is the best means to create power, but it requires a lot of materials, a lot of solar cells in order to keep it going. You'll have to have multiple stations to feed the power you need to run both the wells and your advanced chemistry equipment. In the course of this experiment, I ran into something pretty interesting. The solar cell does cut out from time to time. Therefore, the fuel generator picks up where the cell drops off. But let's look at the thermal generator. Thermal generator runs continuously as long as it has fuel in it. They're easy enough to use. You do need a motor. But at the fuel refinery, I did find all the parts to keep building more thermal generators, where thermal generators now exceed your fuel generator. Your fuel generator, you need the fuel generator as part of the components, which is not easy to get, and it's a heavy component. So with the thermal generators, you do need wood, either sticks, logs, charcoal, or coal. And the fuel generator is going to require fuel. You're going to be counterproductive using your fuel you're generating to create more battery power. The alternative that I found until you can get multiple solar stations up is a thermal generator. Keep adding more thermal generators, and that will supply you enough power to run your oil well system, and it will start refining the oil into fuel without you using any fuel in the process to create more power. But the thermal generator requires enough wood to keep the thermal generators running. It's going to basically force you to deforest the entire area. Therefore, you go to coal. You can look at my first video, which is the mining guide, on more details on the coal. A couple backpacks full of coal will keep your thermal generators running and producing tons of power. Can the oil well be self-sufficient? Well, technically, yes, the oil well refinery system can be self-sufficient. The question we need to look at is not can it be self-sufficient, but should it be ran as self-sufficient? That turns the answer into no. Running the fuel generators is going to use up majority of the fuel you're trying to create. Using other means to create power for the battery to run your oil well, your advanced chemical equipment will make it efficient. So let me know your thoughts on whether or not the oil refinery system is fuel efficient by using fuel, or making it more efficient is more appropriate. I'd like to know your guys' input. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I had an interesting time creating this video. If you like what you saw, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If there's another video you'd like to see, put it down in the comments. This is Blood Cove, and I'll catch you in the next video.